찻잎을 너무 우리는 것은 잡스러운 맛이 올라오는 것을 방치하는 것과 마찬가지입니다. 지양하는 걸 추천드립니다.
Hello everybody! Welcome back. Welcome back to Limbus Company. Today we'll be starting Murder on the Warp Express. Hi Kikyo, hi hello, welcome. But first, as always, we gotta check out our new units. I wanna look at, actually let's see. Yep. I don't even know what these are. Hi Simon, welcome. I forget what they said these are, what we're exchanging. Oh, I was wondering why it was so faded, but we're still in P Corp, of course. Hey Nikki, no worries. I want people to enjoy things themselves. No worries at all. Hi, how are you, Kito? And of course, that's also why I start a little bit later, so people can get ahead a tiny bit. And why I always want to look at the units first. Let's see. Oh, the animation is so good. It was funny, I was playing with, I used Vi Gregor for some daily stuff, some thread excavations, because he can solo some stuff easily, so I was using Ledger Domain. And that animation is just like a thwack. Just a little like punch with the apple, and then now we have this. And it's only a hey. Like, I'm always so impressed how much they've been improving with animation. But yeah, the legs just falling. So yes, hey. Oh, doesn't... I think the other dimension shredders use gluttony. But I was worried because I think it's gonna be harder to accumulate now, since we have more options on the charge team, and if Faust is better than like Isang, for instance, it's harder to build up the gluttony, but she won't need it. So starts with 4. Hello JT, welcome. Starts with 4, gain highest resonance -2 attack weight, max 2, so only going up to 6. But we need 4 resonance. At less than 10 charge count, consume 10% of HP to gain plus 10 charge count. This damage does not reduce this unit's HP to 0, rounded down. Okay, good. Consume up to 40 charge count to deal 1% more damage for every charge count consumed, max 30%. And if like charge -1 dimensional rift, is there any... Would this have any use on... I don't think we'll really be using... I mean, if you want to use her on, Rupture Team, I still feel like you'd want Ebony Stem, and there's other options for Dimensional Rift. Haste and Load. So I haven't picked up Warp Otis, so I don't totally know how the load works. I know it gives you more damage, but I haven't messed with it too much, but we'll see. 1 haste load next turn. Oh, it's next turn. Okay, that's nice. For every charge. Gain +2 charge count. So, and again, they changed charge count and potency. So is this, if they don't say it specifically, is that charge or potency now? Corrosion, so many charge symbols. More gain resonance, maximum consume missing charge, damage is not reduced, consume, deal 10%, max 60. I need to see what these values are like in practice. Passives, max charge count +5, skills that consume charge count deal 2% more damage for every charge -1, max 10%, okay. So I was hoping this would be a little higher, but that's fine. It probably, I guess with all the ways to stack, gaining or inflicting damage. This could, particularly on charge teams now, this could get out of control fairly quickly, so that's okay. I don't think I'll be grabbing her quite yet, because I'm gonna borrow Warp Otis for this event. Let's see, what does multi-track office give? Consume, okay, coin power +2, pretty good. And charge, consume 5 charge, that's +3, fatal to pierce, and right, this is slash, blunt, gain +4 charge count, 2 times per turn. Anything different? Okay, nothing interesting for sanity. Charge counter current. At 5 to 9 charge count, consume 2 times 10 Oh. We are starting to get into, maybe it's not like Fire Emblem Heroes tier skill lengths, but we are the math is getting, the formulas are getting a little more complex. 10 minus current charge count percent HP to raise charge count to 10. Consume 10 charge count to gain coin power +2. At 3+ resonance, including this skill, so okay, 3+ resonance, and just resonance, not even absolute resonance. Consume all charge count on self and deal plus charge plus charge +4% more damage for every charge count consumed by the skill. Wow, max 180. I'm thinking. Yeah, getting hard to parse. Yeah, just from like, I always, oh, look at these. Oh. You get these little keywords now, fixer, mechanical amalgam. Yeah, the inability to like kind of figure it out quickly is always, it's not something I love. I like it when I can, like, more interesting formulas. It's interesting, but I prefer to be able to. Oh, hi, Senior Switchback. Sorry if I missed saying hi. I prefer being able to like calculate in my head a little more easily. Cause that's something. It's something I can do it, but I get a little more stressed about getting it right when I'm on stream, to the disadvantage. But 180%. And again, all these I always like. They can look good on paper, but I always need to feel them when playing them. Wind power +1 for every charge, max 4. So again, is this charge potency now? When they just say charge? Gain plus charge +5, charge count. I already need a drink. But it's interesting that this is not like, the kind of wanting this to be the nuke skill rather than the skill 3. I like that. 3+ charge, deal 8% more damage for every charge, max 40. Solid. Especially for 4 coin skill. 1 envy fragility, up 2+ charge, inflict 1 additional envy fragility. I really like that. I mean, it just makes like envy nukes more powerful, but passive, gain 1 charge every time this unit consumes 10 cumulative charge count in this encounter. A 2+ charge, deal plus char blah blah blah, more damage, max 15%. If the target is at less than, target less than 50%, deal plus charge sometimes. Additionally, increase damage max 25. On kill, this unit and 2 allies with the least charge count gains charge count equal to charge +2, max 5. Prioritizes allies that consume or gain charge. That's nice. And then support. When one ally with the least charge count kills an enemy, the ally gains +3 charge count. Once per turn, he prioritizes. Okay. On kill effects are never as useful. 3 to 7, okay. And let's check out Heath. Wait, hold on. Oh, I love the warp. Oh, look at this. I love the warp logo. Probably one of my favorite logos, honestly. And very nice that they put all the older warp units on here and the dimension shredders. Okay, I can see, yep, there's the P Corp. This one looks cool. Anything new? Warp aesthetic is wonderful, I know. It's probably one of the... I mean, honestly, strongest is just purely by aesthetic. No worries, too lazy. Have fun with the event. Let's check out Heath. Multi-track drifting office. These are nice. Okay. Wrath is nice to have. 5 charge count, coin power. I'm impressed that it's coin that we're moving into coin power versus like final power at this point. Actually, I want to know how this changes between 3 and 4. I need to see it save Heath's shards. Photoelectric mark. Okay. 5 to 9. Consume. Keep more formulas. Consume 10 charge count. This is a cool track. Consume 10 charge for coin power. This will also sort of be for the nuke turns. 2 defense level down. So we do want you to be a bit faster. So you do start at 4. And then you have the photoelectricity. Max value 3. Unit is hit, the attacker, and so that will be the enemy. Doesn't Greg have something like this? 2 HP healing down. I assume that's going to be useful for this specific event based on what we know. And photoelectric harpoon, 4 coins, nice. Coin power +1 for every 2 charge on self, max 2. 7 charge count. Electricity blend fragility. Okay. 3 charge count, 2 times per turn. Oh, and it's evade. That's nice. In 1 charge every time this unit consumes 10 cumulative charge count in this encounter. Turn in 2+ charge, gain 1 haste. 3+ charge, additional haste, and clash power up. Oh wow, 7 owned. Oh, hi Panda! Very excited for your stream. I only keep up the story through your streams. Well, I'm glad to be of service. Glad to be of service. 1 deployed ally, max charge pound costs 5. I don't know, have we had anything that's this much owned? When conditions are met, this effect will remain activated until the start of the next turn. Okay. So let's disband Faust. Right now.
이 계획에는 다수의 결함이 존재합니다.
Oh, I didn't read. It was too fast for me to read.
특정 투성이 계획을 완전 무결하게 만들어 드리죠.
Faust will hone it into utter and failing perfection. Alright, just from the trailer. Thank you. And I'll pick up Otis later, because again, so the team I was sort of... Swap you over. And we're gonna skip the Uptie story just for now.
이번 원정 의뢰도 철저히 준비한 보람이 있군요.
Just in case there are spoilers. Oh look, I always forget because I play on like my portable devices, so it's always the older CGs on here. What do I think of the units so far? They look solid. I always... Okay, what do you get? I assume we're gonna want this. Conflict, the envy fragility, is that not... Oh, you don't even get that at Uptie 3. You definitely want this. Thank you, and let's level you up. So much. Don't want to... Guess we'll get more. Start there. So I was looking at we'll borrow Warp Otis. Oh, heavens, thank you, thank you. Oh, actually, you know what this means? You know what this means, heavens? If you will just give me 1 second, I can put my last emote up. 1 second. Need to refresh. Thank you, heavens. Customize. Add another emoji. Okay, what should I call this? JT, thank you. Thank you. Okay, save and publish. Thank you very much. Oh, I should put up an alert for that, actually. Okay, so you should have one more emote now. Although it might be familiar. I think from this point, it actually gets a lot harder to unlock emotes. You start needing to get, like, 10 members for the next emote. But I would like to commission a few more at some point. But let's look at our team. So definitely Don Ryoshu, Faust, 1, 2, 3, Ishmael. I'm gonna sorry, just I'm happy looking at chat now. I'm gonna borrow Warp Otis from someone, and then until we get Heath, I thought I might put... I'm making an assumption here, and that's that based on slash blunt, that the enemies are either going to be weak to slash or blunt. Maybe specifically slash, since that's also sort of our signature nuke skills. Probably envy, honestly. So that made me think, until we get Laugh Track Office, to maybe use Ophi, because his sin spread matches well and has instead of Rabbit, I have a feeling they might be resistant to Pierce, although we would get. And then because we're having the new chain system battle, I need to see how that's all gonna work out. But let's see actually what we're up against. But that was my feeling, and I do think I have somebody on my friend list with everything uptied. Or at least one person I did check who has a fully invested Warp Otis. Oh, Kikyo! No worries, no worries. Never feel any pressure though. I feel like it will happen. As I always said, I wish I could make the emotes free. They're so fun. I think everybody should have the opportunity. And on Twitch, because I don't use Twitch, right? You can use emotes from different channels, right? That's so fun. I wish we kind of had that. Oh, look at this. Okay, now let us begin. First class. A15. Curious whether... We have a theme pack, but I don't remember if they said we have a dungeon or not. Oh, you can see first class. Even personally, given what we know... Actually, let me just talk for a moment. So I was kind of apprehensive about this event. Hold on, I'm gonna turn down from you a little bit. Because I don't like the warp train stuff that much. I mean, because it's scary. I think both the, like, visceral body horror and the existential horror gets to me, so I wasn't super looking forward to this. And I also feel like a little bit... The more time you spend exploring the warp core horror, the warp train horror, I should say, it will sort of lessen the impact a little bit. That's sort of what I meant, which is why I don't love us doing it, but it seems like we are doing some interesting stuff with it. I'm very excited to see how the Faust stuff plays out. But yeah, just let me have a sip of tea and let's begin. Alright, how did this happen? First, we boarded the warp train to get to our next destination, P Corp. P Corp, we really don't know very much about P Corp, do we? That's exciting. Every time we get a little nugget of something that we haven't gone, I get super excited. Oh, I hope we get like a little glimpse at the end. I mean, obviously no spoilers, not that anyone's there yet, but... got into our fancy first class flash freeze hibernation capsules, and I feel like even if I knew the deal, I still wouldn't want to do first class. The whole idea is just too unsettling. We were supposed to arrive at P Corp after a quick blink of an eye, but... Dante, please respond. There's... I was just examining the CG. The first thing I saw when my vision returned was the perplexed look on Faust, who had entered hibernation at the same time as I did. Then I realized we woke up mid-transit on the warp train, really jumping right into it. Which could only mean that we're now stranded in some lost, unknown dimension? Dante, I understand your considerable degree of disorientation, but... What the heck happened? First things first. Let's rewind and return to the very start of this highly unfavorable situation we find ourselves in. Oh, I like that we were jumping right in. A few days ago. That smile. Our next destination is to a warp train, Dante. What? Yep, that's where it all started. There I was, still perplexed by the incidents at T Corp, with my awful idea of clearing the air by asking Virgilius for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring. Verily, I must have misheard thee? I'm certain you heard me right, Don Quixote. You just know, if he was voice acting, he would like drag out every word. We are now en route to the T Corp warp station. The warp station must have some conundrum that must be resolved there indeed. A quest that must be swiftly addressed at the station, yes? Did a distortion pop up at one of the warp platforms or something? I see that you are now significantly less disinclined to take on some side jobs. But no. We are boarding the warp train to get to P Corp. End of story. There's nothing between the lines, but don't try reading into it. It was only natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collective, dumbfounded shock. none of the sinners have any history of working at Warp Corp, or W Corp, but we're actually taking that train. Okay. Through what vague information we could gather from the identities, we all had some fragmentary knowledge about the terrible secrets of the warp train's operations. I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everyone and letting them get their 2 cents in usually ended up being pretty helpful, more often than not, I've been sharing more of these as of late. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think the actual for everything that sort of is explained, the actual mechanics of of wearing the identity, I think what sort of happens canonically that they go for is that they're sort of being replaced directly. My initial assumption was something a little closer to how it works in Library of Runa, where they're sort of like borrowing the powers specifically, but interesting. Hi Chris Fallen, welcome. Though I have very dim, if present at all, recollections from the time which I wear the identities. It can be determined from the conversational records between the manager and the identities that the mechanisms behind the warp train's operations can be deemed as somewhat bizarre and inefficient. Inefficient is one way to put it. Oh yeah! It's that 10-second trip that actually takes a long time, right? And when the train reaches the destination, they just wipe the passengers' memories? I also heard that the passengers get so tired and weary that they start literally ripping and tearing into one another. Sounds like I might finally have a chance to see a masterpiece with my own eyes. Even when the sinners wear the identities through my identity cards, the identity's memories or beliefs don't bleed into them once it's over and done with. I remember when Faust explained that, due to the risks associated with embracing such influences, there was a filtering process to intentionally block them from reaching the sinners. That's why the sinners could use the identities of some of our worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot. But it also meant that they couldn't retain any new information that each identity had to offer. Okay. That's why I keep a record of some things that sound particularly important and sometimes share it with the rest of the sinners. My voice doesn't really carry well past the window, so most of our communications are one-sided, but I had an abundance of Warp Corp identities, so it wasn't difficult to piece together the truth behind the trains. But, maybe ignorance really is bliss. Your alarmed response and possible incompliance have already been accounted for. Faust? Then thou hast known this all along? Wherefore hast thou not deigned to tell me of this? Faust has indeed known this all along, as no knowledge is out of Faust's reach. As expected, a solution to your dilemma has already been prepared. I seriously doubt your solution involves not getting on the train, so what is it? The bus. Oh, what about this bus? There's no way this thing fits inside a train car. Charon vetoes too. No one to feed Mephi when Charon's gone. Miss Faust. Of course they are. I was curious. I wondered if Virgilius and Charon were going ahead on their own, but it does help knowing that he's around in case of emergency. Yeah, break first class passenger tube in case of emergency. Or at least Virgilius. The rearmost tail cars of warp trains are all freight cars. That is where Mephistopheles will be safely fastened and transported. And the LCB will have the benefit of boarding as first-class passengers. The bus begins to swell with noise again, with slightly different air to the alarmed response from earlier. First-class passengers? what? The seats for those pompous toffs? Even on normal trains, you've got those sods whose proudest accomplishment in life is planting their arses in first-class seats while the others are cramming themselves into freight cars because they haven't the cash for even an economy ticket. Hey, don't look at me. I've never been in one of those first-class seats before either. Why him and not Honglu? Isn't the ticket for a first-class seat like as expensive as 3-4 months' salaries of a first-year wing employee? Oh wow. Can our budget really handle paying for all of our fares? The company's budget is not the subject that warrants your concern. I heard first-class passengers get some cool bonus stuff like personalized private capsules or something, don't they? That is the promotional language, yes. They are flash freeze hibernation capsules, to be precise. They have been designed to easily withstand the true amount of time it takes for the warp trains to travel from point A to point B. The trip will be over in the blink of an eye for the passengers. The company's regard for our well-being is unfamiliar yet welcome. We provided such extravagance merely for our comfort. Such occurrence is quite seldom. Right? I honestly thought they were going to just slip the guide and Karen into first-class seats and ship the rest of us in the economy cars. This seems like an unnecessary luxury. They should have saved their budget and given only the executive manager and their loyal advisor access to those seats. Never change, never change. I mean, her whole deal, since I don't have her warp identity, I haven't actually watched her story, but the whole... I need to, because the whole addition of comparing the inability to reach home and the Odyssey is really, really fascinating to me, because I have always wondered where she was. I mean, where she was in terms of like Odysseus's story. I guess she is in the journey, or there's some reason why she specifically can't. My assumption, just as a side point, I was either Limbus Company is the journey, or she's already been on the journey for somewhat, or this was sort of a extra detour before she returns to Penelope, but I really can't gauge. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're taking the train to get to our next mission, alright? We have to think about the unique nature of warp trains and prepare ourselves accordingly. Right? I know it's first class and all, but warp trains are just plain creepy. I knew you'd also be worried about. The ideas are implying it's before she gets back. Yeah, that's sort of what I was leaning on, but it's... And what? What's specifically the journey? I mean, not that it has to line up exactly, for instance, with a book, but... I do figure it's something like post-journey, but before actually arriving on the island, for instance. For example, economy passengers are going to have a hard time getting into a first-class car if they can't even attempt to open it. I mean, I'm pretty sure the doors separating the cars is ironclad. Ishmael, who'd been hiding the first-class promotional pamphlet in her... who'd been holding that first-class promotional pamphlet in her hands for a while, was chattering with fire in her eyes. I like that she's become the info dump character. We haven't seen that face for a while. We won't even have to lift a finger. We just have to board the train, get into our capsules, shut our eyes, and snooze through the entire ride until all that mess in the other cars blows over. I wait for it all to blow over. I heard they used to give out commemorative merch back when their finances weren't in the gutter. Oh. A true adventure is not without its hardships, yet even the most exalted of heroes cannot venture without respite, and, in very rare occasions, the hero may even deign to select a first-class seat to rest in place of a quaint inn. Indeed, indeed. Seems like everyone was at least somewhat interested in the fabled first-class seats of warp trains. I could sense that there was a growing consensus among the sinners that even a warp train trip might be acceptable if it meant that they could ride in the first class seats. I will board the train if I must. Is first class seating mandatory? I prefer the scenic route. Don't want to miss out on all the fun. Regelia's pretended not to hear Yoshi's question. Very well. Then I assume that we are all in agreement. Let's go. I have a matter of great importance to discuss with thee. What is it? Out with it, lass. Beat around the bush ain't like you. Don Quixote carefully began, almost whispering in a low voice. That is, in the first class seats. I've heard tell that we must board with our feet freed from our boots. Doth that claim hold water? Well, come on now. What kind of nonsense gossip is this coming from this time? Tis no gossip. Forsooth, I've overheard aught from those we have walked past there today, and... Oh yeah, what is the deal with the... Because the shoes are the one thing that's like consistent in all her identities, and the... And her ego. I mean her base ego. Interesting. When one of them inquired, you know that we gotta go barefoot in first class, right? The other responded with, of course, man. Doth the traveler speak true, Ishmael? Don't ask me, I've never been on one of these before either. I don't remember seeing anything like that on the pamphlet. Give me a sec. I mustn't be separated from Rocinante, not even for a twinkle. I shan't toss Rocinante to the side next to such vulgarities like the ugly shoes of Sir Heathcliff. Oh, you little... I implore thee, O illustrious red gaze, prithee, grant me thy permission to allow me to board with Rocinante! I expected Vergilius to answer like his usual exasperated rebuff. But this time he responded in a somewhat serious, if tainted by that familiar annoyance, tone. Fine. Keep your shoes on. I wonder what the deal is. The Northern Fixer. Okay. Deep break. What could be the deal? I don't know if it's just like, I assume it's just wanting the shoes with her, it's not necessarily wearing them, exactly. This place is huge. That was my first impression of the warp train station. Oh, so this is... Don Quixote shouted vibrantly, immediately recovered from her previous apprehension of the sheer possibility that she might be separated from Rocinante. So each nest has one of these massive structures in them. And the gears are up there. I've got nothing. Boy, know anything about what they're asking? Heathcliff asked, gesturing towards Merceau with his chin. Every warp train station has been built with a general design philosophy that draws from their respective nests' architecture, idiosyncrasies. It can also be said that many critics in relevant fields praise the warp train stations as one of the many cultural cornerstones of the city. I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Merceau like a walking encyclopedia from time to time. Merceau. Young Merceau! Lo, is that passenger over yonder from the west? Incorrect. Leather-based clothing and metal armor are predominantly fashion trends, often visible in the outfits of the Western population. While that individual's cloth-based style is something ubiquitously observed throughout the population of North and South, they're largely considered to be an Eastern fashion trend, rarely seen among Western. Oh, that was meant to be fast. Prithee, slow thyself, for I must make a record of thy lectures. What wisdom dost thou have to impart regarding the fashion of the northern region? I've once espied in a magazine that they are garbed in loose-fitting outfits, understandably slow, given the colder climate of the region. An opportunity for a first-hand observation stands before you. Ooh! Oh, hold on. I knew we'd be getting screaming because of the warp event. Hold on, I came prepared. Okay. 3 seconds of screaming duet. One of utter fascination, the other of unmitigated frustration. What the heck? You nearly blew out my eardrums. You're one to talk. Dude. I don't know, have we heard somebody say dude much before? Dude, I've got an audible frequency range expansion implant in my eardrums. Now get the heck out of my way. You're blocking the walkway like a ragtag bunch of hicks who've never seen a warp train before. Darn it, I take the train all the way here for an expedition, only to lose my target, and now these guys are trying to blow out my eardrums. Great, just great. I love this. Guys, is it obvious that we've never been on a warp train before? And the ticket fee came straight out of my darn pocket. Whoa, watch out, big fella. Someone might get seriously hurt if you keep swinging those forearms around, each holding a weapon to boot. Prithee, will thou stand still for but a moment to satisfy a few inquiries in line regarding the outfit? Oh, yes. Stand in absolute stillness for 5 minutes and I... Seriously? The fixer, with a particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms, spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off to a different platform. Ah, indeed. 'Tis grand, the city of sundry odd personalities. I'm pretty sure he was thinking the same thing. I guess the city really is full of people with full-body prosthetics. That Unregalia slowly walked up to our group. Well then, we'll rendezvous at the destination. Where are you going? Huh? Will the illustrious Red Gaze not ride alongside us? W Corp policy demands those with the title of a color must board a train separately. Specially prepared for them instead. No, we don't have break glass in case of emergency. Oh, are you like riding the first class plus or something? That's a color for you, I guess. Special treatment from the wings no matter where he goes. Karen wants to go back to Mephi. Mephi will be lonely. I already told you why you can't, Karen, on 3 separate occasions in which I brought you those multi-flavored candies. Humans are not allowed to board the freight cars. Then, Miss Faust? Yes. Virgilius, after exchanging a knowing look and a nod with Faust, escorted the particularly peeved Karen away. Dante, let us proceed this way. We followed Faust's guidance to the entrance to our train car. Color! Dang. Whoa. Hey, our colors are starting to come back. Ooh. Hey, these must be the fabled complimentary food and drink of the first class seats. Heck yeah, of course. Quality stuff like this gotta be included with that insane pricing. The general response to this room was a surprise at the rows upon rows of expensive-looking, sizable capsules. Flash freeze hibernation, huh? I guess it literally freezes our bodies in a flash? Faust, are these flash freeze hibernation devices safe? Please elaborate on your exact definition of safe. These things are supposed to freeze us solid, right? Can we really come back from something like that? A flash freeze hibernation device will put you in a temporary state of death caused by... Excuse me. A flash freeze hibernation device will put you in a temporary state of death caused by rapid cellular cryopreservation process. However, the rapidity of the process prevents damage to your cell walls during the phase change. Therefore, in most normal cases, this will not cause any issues. Faust is aware that this model has fully resolved cell wall breaching issues caused by cryogenic density change or by ice crystal growths of hydrogen molecules. I missed about half of what you said, but your point is that it's safe, right? Yes, as far as Faust is aware, even if an issue were to arise during the journey, because everyone is reverted to their states at the beginning of the trip upon arrival, there won't be any lasting complications from the said problem. Well, you've got some real talent for dragging out something so simple as, yeah, it's safe, to so many words. Seriously. Indeed. As Faust's talents are not limited to a singular field. Okay, but that still leaves a lot to be worried about. Wait, there's something odd about the way she phrased that. As far as Faust is aware, are you saying that it could be wrong? As a general rule, Faust does not err. However, Faust is also not a divine being. There is certain information in the world that Faust is yet to have access to. Therefore, while Faust may speak the facts, what is said may not always align with the truth. Okay. They don't call it first class for nothing, I guess. P Corp's way up there in the northernmost corner of the city, but this thing will take us there in a blink of an eye, huh? That's one hell of a time saver. How do you do this? Hoo-ah, hoo-ah, hoo-ah. Prepare thyself, Rocinante. Thus begins the long jaunt. You didn't have to directly reference it. Stephen King has a story called The Jaunt. Oh, I've been meaning to ask Don Quixote. Do you ever, wash those shoes? Where'd that come from, Rudia? No, I mean, think back to when we were inside that whale. When that whale blew up, we got all kinds of its gross slimy bits on us. They were on our clothes, our shoes, everything. Yeah. And do you remember how much work it took for us to clean up our bloodied, fishy, fleshy gunk clothing? This really isn't something I want to revisit, but yeah. Right? And do you also remember how Don Quixote never took her shoes off once during that whole ordeal? Okay, I guess they do look a bit filthy. I ask thee, dear compatriots, hast thou ever witnessed an errant knight who leaves the side of their beloved steed? Can't say I've ever witnessed a knight before, though. Then thou shalt know, starting now. Behold, hearken to it, and remember it well. They never quiet down, do they? Whoa, have you been on one of these, Otis? I have been treated to premium VIP seats of similar grandiosity back then. This is nothing to fuss over. Otis, who was sitting there and shaking her legs, suddenly asked Faust a question. Hey, you're confident that no accidents ever occurred on one of these first-class cars, yes? In order to prevent cases of unnecessary anxiety and misgivings among the sinners, the history of accidents that has occurred aboard warp trains will not be shared. Wait, what the... I think we're leaving soon. This is for warp train PW 612 bound for P Corp. Boarding period is ending soon. The sinners, who are either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around the first-class car, suddenly became a lot busier. Then, let us hurry and enter our capsules before it is too late. Oh no, why isn't this... The other sinners made it into their capsules no problem, but... I felt like I was the only one who's fumbling. Is it anxiety, Dante? I think so. Initiating warp in 10 minutes. Allow me to assist you. Stand as though you're leaning back and... There's Dawn! This is fun. Who's back there? Can't tell that one. Faust expertly guided me into the capsule as though she'd done something like this before, and pressed a button inside the capsule that closed the hatch. Do not worry too much. We will meet again in but a moment, Dante. I thought I heard a brief sigh, but the hatch shut tightly before I could ask her anything. Initiating warp. Please confirm that your seatbelts are firmly fastened. The last thing I saw before my capsule began to fill with gas was Faust climbing into her own capsule opposite of mine. I had no idea then what she really meant by, we'll meet again in but a moment. Dante, you must wake up, Dante. But one thing I knew for sure was an inconceivable situation has occurred. That something had seriously gone wrong. Hi, Butters! Hi, Butters! Okay, more reading. Disappearing passengers. One sec, I want to get my biscuit. One sec, I'll just mute for one sec. And off we go. We're here already? Wow, I guess that wasn't an exaggeration at all. It really happened in the blink of an eye. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which is a complete lack of any emotive expression. Which, I suppose, is why I didn't immediately register that something had gone awry. No, we are not yet at our destination. Huh? When I finally came to, and after I had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked up at her face once again, and realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopically minuscule degree. I didn't even check her expression. Is her eyebrow down a tiny bit? So, this train is still running? Yes. Then, where are we? I believe we are currently stranded in an unidentified dimension, coordinates unknown. I took a reflexive, deep breath from the sheer horror of the numerous implications stuffed into that dryly delivered sentence. When that passed, the first thing that struck my mind was that we were about to suffer the very thing we were so worried about. I see. But I soon found myself calming down. Yeah, this had to be a part of Faust's plan. She probably saw this coming from a mile away. I'm sure she's about to proudly tell me every little detail of her plan that will help us out of this situation. But this is all just a part of the plan, right, Faust? That was an unusually long silence from Faust. You're half correct, yet half incorrect. With that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vaguely terrifying information as she began stopping by each capsule to wake the sinners. Oh, we're here already? Man, it really happened in the blink of an... No. Oh, what's this? We're here already? For real? It really happened in the blink of an... No. Oh, we're here already? I guess I was really worrying over nothing. No. Oh, no. Yet I've not uttered a single word. There was a brief cheer, a little hurrah about regaining our colors, followed by a flat-toned explanation of our current predicament, which was followed by a long, loaded silence. Which was a sequence of events I had the pleasure of watching out about 10 consecutive occasions. Dante, I understand your confusion, however, perhaps an elaboration of our present circumstance is necessary. And that brings us to the present. Let me get this right. This train's still running. And we're drifting through some unknown dimension. Oh, aught about that striketh me as quite dramatic. Most importantly, are you saying that you already knew that this would happen, Faust? Yes. What the heck is wrong with you, huh? The sinners each began to voice their anger. Of course, this wasn't the first time Faust and Vergilius intentionally and knowingly omitted certain details about events in our path. What? Are you insane? It's not like we can just retreat or jump out the door when stuff hits the fan. Opening the doors will result in nearly immediate destruction of the physical body. But hey, Fao, at least you know what to do like you always do. You've got a plan, right? That is a more weighted expression. Right? Faust, whom I had never seen at a loss for words, was having longly odd instances of silence. Just trying to connect. What's up with her? Lass looks totally out of it today. She gives me a sideways glance. There must be something she can't discuss in front of the sinners. Guys, let's pause for a bit. She said that something inconceivable's happened. The other sinner's anger was completely understandable. It also makes sense that this continued lack of communication is harming our trust in Faust. Alright, we're going over the situation from the start, okay? But just letting things play out might really turn everyone against Faust, and for good. And I doubt Faust had any ill intent in waking us up in the middle of the trip. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down. Then I'll ask Faust to tell us what happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with it as we move along. Nice managering, Dante. Tell us what's going on, Faust, all of it, in a way we can all understand. Let's hear out first. Is that okay with you guys? If you say so, I'll go along with it. Fine. I suppose losing my rag really did anything. I mean, it did get people killed. Thank you, then. After some time, the gist of Faust's explanation was as follows. The cause of this issue, as always, involved a certain contract and a unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. What? W Corp caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management promotions. Oh, are we being unfrozen to deal with it? And decided to contract us to deal with a mysterious repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by a distortion, after multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course. The distortion themselves likely did not pose a problem for W Corp based on the available information. Or based on the available information, it can be determined that they would have been neutralized as soon as the train arrived, and any transformed passengers would have been reverted to their human forms. But the real issue was that the passengers were disappearing. Passengers spirited away? Alas, such is an impossibility aboard these trains, is it not? That is the question for which we must discover the precise cause and effect of. Did W Corp share anything to get us started? That appears to be the most prominent cause of this misunderstanding. She explained that W Corp refused to share anything about the trains because they were concerned about maintaining the secrets of their singularity. Maybe that's exactly why they sought out an upstart business like Limbus Company to deal with this, now that I think about it. We wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Faust produced what appeared to be a key card with a W Corp logo on it before continuing with her explanations. However, we were given this master key card that can open and close the hibernation capsules at will. Master key. That's the first step for a lock room mystery. We may return to our respective capsules as soon as the contract is fulfilled and safely complete the rest of our journey as we had planned from the beginning. These bloody wings. Every single one of them's been absolutely barmy. My dad says barmy a lot. Balmy bonkers. I think it's a bit unkind of them to ask us to finish the puzzle without all the important pieces. At least at T Corp, their chief executive director tagged along as our assistant, not to mention kindly explaining so many new things to us. It sounds like Miss Faust was stuck between a rock and a hard place herself. Some sinners grew more receptive after explanations, albeit with a sigh. I would have appreciated if you at least gave us a hint. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not like there's someone out there monitoring your every move and every word, right? Right? That is... But not everyone was as willing to let this go without saying their piece. Next time, I will take your inputs into account. And that's everything I can do for her. It's an undeniable truth that Faust has disappointed the sinners with what she's done. But she is Faust, after all. I'm sure she has backup plans to get us out of this situation. So what is next on our agenda? Yeah, what's done is done, right? Besides, it's not like we gotta rot away for thousands of years inside this metal box. That is something I must first discuss with Dante. Discuss? But discussing things with other people is very unlike Faust. What are we discussing, Faust? I recommend that you lower your voice from this point onward, Dante. Why are we whispering? Your secretive attitude only served to exacerbate my already battered sense of safety. My connection to Gesellschaft, Faust, has been severed. Oh! What does that mean? Hold on. Hold on. Community... Generally translate, or Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft, please excuse my German. Generally translated as community and society are categories which were used by the German sociologist Ferdinand Tönnies in order to categorize social relationships into two types. The Gesellschaft is associated with modern society and rational self-interest, which weakens the traditional bonds of family and local community that typify the Gemeinschaft. Ooh. We'll look at more of this afterwards. Oh, so this is corporatism. It's looking, this is Merriam-Webster. A rationally developed mechanistic type of social relationship categorized by impersonally contracted associations between persons. It's just company. Oh, it's just company and journey. Thank you. I want to see the deeper. It's just essentially what it means. Okay. Night, Bleed Void Man. I'm sorry, what? I cannot access Faust's knowledge at the moment. Oh, is there a little sweat drop? I guess I was absolutely right to be anxious. And Faust skill 2 doing numbers. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Here we go. Here's a fight. My turn. Oh, blunt. Yes. Blunt envy. 2 different enemies. Weak to blunt and envy. What are these? Civilian recovery pack. Note to cleanup agents. Please collect and store a single passenger's part in this pack. No matter how difficult it may appear to collect their parts, do note that there is a single strand of vein connecting the passenger's part together. Imagine you are spinning a yarn ball into shape and patiently collect them one by one. Oh. There within 10 turns. Oh, only level 40. Okay. I'll put her first.
출발하죠.
Oh yeah, so here's the question about chain battles now. Your selection. Oh. My question about chained battles is, what if we wanted to low man? What if we wanted to have a smaller team?
각 정리요원은 위치로. 곧 열차 정리가 시작된다.
What if we wanted to have a smaller team?
출발합니다. 마침내 현장 투입인가.
계약이 또 어그러졌나?
But you
계약이
last.
또 어그러졌나 보지.
Now deploy backup. I really, there should be a button that like swaps us to backup, I guess. I'm gonna hope we won't need a backup immediately.
출근하겠어. 청소 형님군.
Because these guys are on
최선을 다해볼게.
these guys are on passive duty.
아, 정리 작업 시작합니다.
What do you mean you can't? I mean it in the most literal sense. My access to Faust's input and information, which has always been readily available, is completely severed. Oh, what if everything about this situation is something you don't have access to yet, like you said last time? One cannot completely dismiss that possibility, but even that is uncertain. Every answer Faust is giving me was always full of confidence and methodical expertise. I don't think she's ever said a sentence that was this full of speculation and doubt. Then, Faust, you're... Yes, at this moment, I am limited to operating only with my knowledge. I cannot discern the cause of this disconnection. More than enough precautions have likely been taken in case of interdimensional travel, but perhaps Faust did not take into account an occasion in which we may have to access an unidentified dimension such as this, or, even if it was taken into account, this particular dimension may not have been subject to cross-observation. If that is not the case, then Just saying I, not Faust, and I... No, never mind. There was nothing that suggested that my connection to Faust would be lost, not even as we boarded the train. To be honest, this is a rather disagreeable situation for me. Alright, for now. Now that changes everything. I recalled the last thing I saw before the hatch on the capsule closed, when Faust told me not to worry too much. Okay. This is just a minor setback, nothing we can't beat, right? We got this. I began to mutter like I was trying to convince myself. As the manager, my job is to calm everyone down and set their sights on the future, just as Faust did for me immediately before the hatch closed. If you're right about why you were disconnected, then that problem will solve itself once we're off the train. And if we do ever run out of options, I'll just turn the clock and see what happens. Don't stress yourself too much. We still have a lot to work with. Your knowledge, my, clock, the sinners, and I could feel my confidence taking a hit with every word that came out of my metaphorical mouth. That seemed to be enough for Faust. She nodded. Understood. And to the sinners. The fact that we are currently confined to a warp train in operation must be a source of enough stress. I believe that sharing Faust's current state with them would add an unnecessary source of tension. What, so wrecking this door ain't gonna do anything? Oh, we're all going to bite it if it opens? Once it opens? Bite it once it opens. How many times do I have to tell you that you're not even strong enough to break this door down? A billion years in this box. Yeah, good idea. So, what now? We have to take a searching sweep around each car or something? In the grand scheme of things, yes. Faust cleared the air with a cough before continuing. And I'll have a sip of tea. By A Corp's standard time scale, approximately 3 days have passed since our departure. Only 3 days. As per the contract between Limbus Company and W Corp, I acquired the master keycard placed inside my capsule and adjusted the hatch settings to open automatically in 3 days. 3 days, huh? I feel like I just blinked in. I guess that's hibernation for you. As you were all informed prior to boarding, there's no way for the economy class passengers to enter the first class car. That is why this place has remained untouched. However, cross-referencing my own deductions and W Corp's rather fragmentary explanations, I can assume that the situation is currently under progress in the economy class cars. The situation. Well, it can't have gotten too bad yet. The part where they thrash the shite out of each other, tearing their limbs off, all that mess? No, I don't think it gets that bad in just 3 days. Besides, that's supposed to be business as usual for W Corp, right? It must be something else that's out of the ordinary that they want us to deal with. Precisely. In my opinion, it is... Oh! Hold that thought for but a moment. Just as Faust was about to continue, Don Quixote raised her index fingers to her lips and signaled her to be quiet. Dost thou hear aught as I do? Scratching, nay, rapping, forsooth, past this gate must be. As Don Quixote kept listening with her ear to the door, an odd expression of half curiosity, half horror appeared on her face. It is possible that there must be... Lady Faust? After that very distressing noise, everyone simultaneously turned their heads to look at Faust, who closed her eyes briefly in thought. Please step aside for a moment, Don Quixote. It would be best if I observed it with my own eyes. Maybe it's longer than 3 days. With that, she produced the master keycard from her pocket and approached the panel installed next to the door. Whoa, hang on a minute. You're going to open the door? I intend to follow your usual flavor of suggestion, Heathcliff. But there are times in which a physical altercation is preferable to detached ruminations. My suggestion? Well, I ain't gonna disagree with you there, but... what's gone into you, lass? After all, how could I deduce anything without seeing it for myself? After a brief mechanical beef... Oh. Hideous creatures suddenly crashed through the door and charged wildly in our direction. Hi, Halam. Craving blood bag passenger. Need a couple more? Okay. me see. Blood bag. Okay, it really is blood fiends. That is one way to add to all this. I thought I thought it was the game. No, Hi Slane, hi Dylan. No, I knew there was, I mean, given the subject matter, I was like, there's gonna be a lot of screaming. Only so much I can take. Let's see. Craving blood bag passenger. They look cool. Those ones have like claws. Okay, what do we got? Oh, there's a stagger thresholds. Coagulated arm. Like +2 bleed. Hard blood jag. Bleed count. Oh, now I want these identities. If target has 10 plus bleed, deal 20% more damage. Bleed. Absorb up to 10 bleed potency from the target and heal. Bleed potency, blah blah blah. Bleed potency absorb times 2 HP. This effect does not lower the target's bleed potency under 1. Counter. Yeah, I'm really hoping next season gives bleed some love like we got for Tremor and Sinking this season. Gain +1 bleed every count every time this unit is hit. Consume 3 bleed count on self to gain 1 coagulated blood. Gain offense level and defense level equal to max. Thirst for blood. Gain bleed. So you're gonna gain bleed. Prioritizes targets with bleed. Turn end. If this unit failed to deal any damage this turn, gain 2 fragile and 2 offense level up next turn. Fair enough. Blood second. Take 10% less damage from bleed, rounded down. On hit, if target has bleed, heal 10% of damage dealt. And these ones, anything different? Not really. Okay, weak to blunt. And let's watch me. Okay, let me double check Otis's sins. Okay. So it's pride, envy. Okay, because I haven't used her before. It's regaining count. And this also consumes count. We give it's your passive where we gain charge potency. And then what gives the load? To self and highest resonance allies with charge, apply load equal to charge on self. Okay, max 5 other allies. And I think I watched a video and it was like deploy order that gets the load. So we want to save this for like the nuke turns. Just double checking. Nope. We want to build up charge first. Yeah, we'll just waste I want to save these for clashing. Let's see how often I forget Ishmael's passive. Okay. And just one wave.
충전 기능 점검.
Okay. Yoshu, there we go. Oh, I want to see Faust animations. Oh, this looks so cool. 22. This, oh goodness. So again, load, not, save that for another turn. If they survive. You should still get, well, doesn't super matter. Let's try skill 3.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
Oh, there comes charge barrier.
말 들어.
Hi, sad cat. Welcome.
처리했습니다. 처리했습니다.
Okay, yeah, nobody's surviving.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
처리했습니다.
Yep, there goes Ismail's SP. That's why I wanted to bring along like middle Melso. Oh, I guess she won't actually benefit from that because I'm not using Heathcliff. Never mind. Was bringing along some other SP healers. Oh, your opinion of the last PM stream. Okay, I'll try and talk about that next fight. Yes, I was saving to do that during a PM stream. Lady Faust, however similar in appearance they may have been to the passengers. Verily, it's as though they were in complete want of sense. Like people politified by the whale. Don Quixote hesitated until the last minute before raising her weapon to fight them. She hangs her head mournfully. Normally, Faust would have told her more information about those monsters before the fight began. And she would not have been burdened by the sheer thought of bringing harm to the innocent. Faust began searching the area, closely observing various bodies in the general area for information. You appear particularly inquisitive today, Miss Faust. Yeah, are you usually the one who has all the answers while we're racking our brains trying to come up with something? The sinners were starting to feel that there's something off about Faust's behavior. They might even soon realize that there's something wrong with Faust right now. Don Quixote. They are not dead. Huh? Observe closer. The parts are all tethered to one another by something, are they not? Oh! It appears that the flow of time has ceased in this space. Therefore, it follows that the connections that tether the bodies to life and away from death remain intact. To my relief, Faust managed to correctly figure out what's going on like her usual self, even if it took her slightly longer than it usually does. Hey, what'd I say? We got this! Huh? What was that about? Nothing. But I'd forgotten that not all sinners were content with nodding along to whatever information Faust told us. The flow of time has ceased aboard a warp train, is it? Isang grew pensive. Seeing that, Faust's lips parted for a moment before closing shut. I was starting to get a good read on her. There was an unmistakable look of regret, no matter how short-lived. Albeit, would it not be more accurate to muse that the flow of time is decelerated to the point where, to an extra-dimensional deserter, it is slowed to a stop? What is your perspective regarding this suggestion? Yes, that is the most rational suggestion, Isang. Did Miss Faust just get something wrong? Wow, Isang sure is a time expert, right? Can you summarize it in easier language now that we're talking about it anyway? Gladly, if you would allow me. Isang began to elaborate with gentle enthusiasm. That was close. To speak in brevity, it can be said that death is not an element aboard this train. And? Can you maybe speak in a little less brevity? To elaborate. Verily, this one's heart beats still. Don Quixote lowers her head and listens closely to what appears to be a dismembered torso, and shouts with relief. Their state is akin to an unassembled jigsaw puzzle, merely immobilized and separated. Though their corpus has been sundered, the concept of death is at a state of, for all intents and purposes, eternal delay aboard this train, existence in continuance of moratorium. Forced, they are, to be tethered upon the thinnest yet tenacious thread of life. I ill understood what hath been said here, yet they are not dead all the same, If their severed parts are all connected, then it can be said that no matter how entangled their bodies become, it is not impossible to eventually gather their parts together to form a single passenger. Thus, naturally, we can determine how and why the profession W Corp cleanup agent has come to be. I see, because someone will have to categorize and reconstruct the puzzles once the journey is over. It's really baffling to me that job like that even exists. Yeah, before the event, I was kind of wondering, because I didn't necessarily want the event IDs to be warp cleanup identities. I want to see who else belongs to Warp Corp. What other jobs there can be with combat experience. There has to be some. Ever seen a wing that wasn't baffling in every sense of that word? Still, I guess that means that as long as the train arrives at the station, they'll all be put back together like nothing happened. From what I learned through the W Corp identities, their main job was to gather chunks of flesh together to bring them back to their original shape before they boarded the trains. It's a lot more visceral when I have to look at it in person. Phew. That is quite the auspicious news among ill tidings indeed. It soon clicked in me what Faust was, though with some effort, trying to do as I watched Don Quixote sigh with relief. Maybe Faust was trying to tear Don Quixote up in her own way. The other Faust would not even find it necessary to do something like that. Oh, Faust! Dante. What's up? Oh, time to whisper, right? Indeed. I intend to collect further intelligence. Well, if there's anything I can tell you... Faust cast a dark gaze towards the chunk of flesh. Her gaze remained fixed upon them as she whispered. Are they distortions or abnormalities? Oh, yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. They weren't humans, that's for sure. From them, I felt the same sensation I felt from monsters. Something inexplicable, an unclear sensation or an aura. I felt this somewhere before, I'm sure of it, but I couldn't quite pinpoint the source of the sensation. One thing I do know for sure is that this sensation was not the same feeling I got from abnormalities, distortions, or even the Pecatula. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd say they're closer to distortions. I'm sorry, I don't think they're either of those. It is difficult to be certain at the moment, or is it difficult to be certain at the moment? Again, I'm not sure how I can explain this, but they're very, very similar to distortions, but also different. If you had to ask, then I'm gonna guess Faust doesn't know. Faust may know, but I, at this moment, have no way of knowing. I feel like I should apologize for that. There is no need, Dante. Though the information you have provided me is rather ambiguous, it has helped me to do something of worth. And... collecting intelligence myself and creating deductions based on sparse information is quite... She paused, holding a bloody, slimy chunk of flesh in her hands. Did she just smile to herself with gore in her hands? Oh, finally, the awakening has begun.
계획보다 더 일찍 의뢰를 완수했네요. 저와 파우스트의 뛰어난 능력 덕분이지만 여러분의 노력도 나쁘지 않았어요.
Faust and my expertise. wasn't really long. It's hard to really gauge from just that. Still the one bronze identity training ticket. Here we go. Multi-crack office. Finish my tea. After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we opened the door to the next cabin, only to be greeted by a loud commotion. Sounds like there are other survivors? Ah, passengers in danger! Worry not, for I've arrived to— Ugh! Whoa, whoa, don't come any closer. Who the heck are you guys? You look cool. Oh, I guess this is Faust's ID. Oh, mirror, just like N. Faust and Cromer. A four-armed woman suddenly jumped in our path. She appeared without warning. Faust stumbled a little, inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as she pushed us away. Right, like you gave me any warning before you practically kicked that door open. Would you mind moving that huge sword out of our faces? It's a bit disconcerting. Threatening? I'm just trying to protect those civilians in this car. Also, is that a bioprosthetic? Must be an old-timer, huh? I thought those things went out of style forever ago. Oh, you want to see what this old-timer's got left in him? Aha! Thou art from the north verily? Thy garb is that of northerners know. This really ain't the time, lass. Anyway, it looks like we're in the same mess here. Make way for us, yeah? She seemed to be sizing us up for a moment. Nah. How do I trust you? Got any proof you ain't bitten? I'm not gonna let all my effort protecting this place go to waste. Bitten? What the hell are you talking about? Weird, you look completely lost. If you're one of the economy cars, I'm sure you've seen... Hold on. Are you all from the first class car? Yeah, we just woke up from our capsules. But none of you look very... I mean... Aren't first class seats supposed to be... Well, why didn't you say from the get-go? Name's Sasha. Multi-crack office rep. Hi, Sasha. With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass. Have you not left this car for the duration of the ride, Sasha? No, I haven't. We warped over to P Corp after picking up under their contracts, but... Geez, can you believe that this train broke down? Is it even broken? I'm not very hungry or sleepy at all. It stinks of some shady stuff if you ask me. You can feel all that even in a prosthetic body? Man, how could I live without my favorite hobby, drifting into a sweet nap after a pleasant meal? So I made sure to get high quality parts for him so I can still feel hungry and sleepy. Hasn't something else of note also occurred? You bet it did something. You bet something else of note did go down. How distracting. Is it hard for you to speak without being so hyper? Or at least stop swinging your arms around like that? Can't do that, friend. I broke all my prosthetic arms in a fight, so I'm calibrating a new set. Gotta keep swinging them if I want them to sync up with the other parts anytime soon. Anywho, I don't know what the heck's going on, but people start turning into some weird monsters all of a sudden. I haven't a goddamn clue as to who they are. They don't seem like they can understand us either. Good thing my train car didn't have a lot of those monsters. I just chopped what monsters there were to pieces and hauled civilians to this vacant car. 3,201 red colors, 3,202 red colors. We've decided to protect them, despite the potential risk they may transform as well. But of course, it's the expected duty of any valorous fixer to stand guard in the front lines against evil to protect the weak. I've been keeping a close eye on them for the last 3 days, and so far, 0 transformations. Go past this scar, and you'll see what hell on earth really means. Those monsters are constantly trying to claw their way up to the front of the train. If you ask me, I'd wager some stuff went down at one of the train cars in the back and spread like wildfire until it reached here. I want to know, when they say, I feel like Earth has been mentioned before, and I wondered then, just because of like speculation about the city, if specifically Earth is mentioned, because we say like hell on Earth, that's in, we say that in English, but I want to know if like Earth is specifically mentioned in the original text. When theory in shambles? Well, that's what I'm wondering. Also, it's not capitalized. It could just be being used in expression and not... I'm moving my water bottle. It could just be being used as an expression, not literally. I see. That's all I can tell you about the situation, so... What's your story? Why do you rich first-class folks decide to suddenly grace us peasants with your presence? Nothing that's happening here could have made it to your swanky first-class cars. So what's your business down here? W Corp has hired us to solve this case. We are... fixers! Indeed. Fixers. Faust wore a look of reluctant acceptance as she affirmed Don Quixote's declaration. Huh. I got every single one of you a first-class ticket? Your office must be rolling in the dough. Wait a gosh darn second. So W Corp already knew this would happen? But... are you really contracted to a wing? Not sure if I trust ya. As you must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillments are of paramount importance for fixers. With that in mind, please recall that W Corp is one of the most secretive wings of the city. Non-disclosure agreement, huh? Makes sense. Wouldn't want to deal with those Ophi boys either. Anyways, I'm still gonna ask for proof they were actually contracted by W Corp. I don't know if you should show that, but this is the master key card given to us by W Corp. I believe that it can open most doors aboard this train. Faust produced the master key card from her pocket. I guess there isn't any other way for us to prove that we're actually contracted by W Corp. But she has 4 arms to just go yoink. A key card, so use this to open the path between the first class and the economy class car. Let's see, W Corp logo. Whoa, nice materials. Looks like you're telling the truth. Alright, I won't pry. Not like there's any cash in it for me either. So, I guess you gotta go all the way down there for your job, huh? Yes. The fixer finally got out of our way. Then, with one of her free hands pointed toward the opposite door. Well, your funeral, ladies and gents. Or a victory lap, if you guys are really that good. Lots of luck to y'all. I thank thee for thy words of courage, Fixer Sasha. I shall trust thee with protection of this fortress. Prithee, protect the innocent in my stead. Ooh. Big sis, are you a fixer? You gonna save us from the monsters in the cars behind us? Oh? Just as we were about to reach the other end of the car, a little passenger pulled on Don Quixote's coattails. Aye, forsooth. Whoa, are you a famous fixer? Forsooth, once again, thou mayst know me as a profoundly illustrious fixer. Oh, I want to be a fixer too, just like... Don't pester the lady. I'm sorry, she's my daughter and... Worry not thyself, 'tis no bother at all. Thou must dream of becoming a fixer thyself, little squire. It is fortunate that someone like yourself is aboard the train. Your presence ensured that child's survival. What you talking about all of a sudden? Come on, no need to keep up appearances between two people in the same line of work. I'm just here to collect some sweet, sweet emergency contract fees from each and every one of them. Are you two on something or what? I see. I don't think Don Quixote needs to hear what she just said. Didn't know you could just be like that, Faust. Be like... what? You knew there was no way the fixer was actually there to protect them out of pure goodwill, but you decided to go along with Don Quixote's delusions anyway. Am I right? Good move. I was getting worried about what might happen if she started acting out again. You saw the twinkle in her eyes too, right? Don Quixote has always been energetic, but she's especially bouncy today. Eyes. Now strode towards Sasha with a question. I've one last thing to inquire. It'll be 30k per inquiry. That is quite an unsound decision to make for someone who claims to be in the same line of work as us. Have you considered the possibility that, once our contract is successfully complete, we could include references to a particularly cooperative associate office in our report to W Corp? Whoa, you serious? Well then, let me hear it. Were the eyes of the monsters you faced red, by any chance? Sasha paused, swinging her arms for a moment upon hearing that question, appearing to either be in thought or trying to recall something, then answered. I don't know. It was a pretty hectic battle in a narrow hallway, so I didn't have the wherewithal to get a good look at their eyes. Is it something important? I mean, there's a lot... To be fair, at this point, we know a lot of characters with red eyes, including Sasha. Yeah. Well, for one, my prosthetic eye is red. That passenger's over there's got red eyes. Oh, you there. The lady with the big sword's also got red eyes, exactly. What, is someone out there paying cash for info on red eyes or something? No, well... It was a question of no significance. House nodded lightly in her direction, then opened the door to the next car. Ugh. Can't whistle, I'm sorry. Oh. It was just as we had feared. The scene that appeared before us looked like it came straight out of Painting of Hell. Full screen. This is a setup. Red eyes and brown hair. I was thinking the fact that the kid had a sprite. Thank you, I need the Volpurgis funds. He's still blunt, but... Painting of Hell. Are you having a good day, Ryoshu? Must not. Oh, that's just that new. Oh, thank you. I didn't realize you had the Dimension Shredder. Thank you for... Oh, Dimension Shredder 4. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that remembers to equip the stuff and share it very quickly. I will do that as well.
정리 시간이다.
Having a specific... Little kid having a specific sprite and the parent not. Hello, aggressive blood bag passenger. This is it's just this specific kind of like lore I'm not particularly good with. Yeah, that's fine. I barely used Ophi. What do I have to say about the stream? I feel like... Let's hold on... No, we'll go for it for the... presents. I think of everything... I'm excited for... I'm really excited actually for the Deviat... I think the Deviat... There. I was wondering if it gave them like a specific passive for this, I mean icon for this state where they get the fragile and offense level up. A3 owned. Hi Smoky Meadows, no worries, no worries. I think conceptually the idea of like traveling fixer off or fixer association really appeals to me, and the design is so cute. I love the penguin theme. I love the big chunky jackets. I can't wait for them, and I'm really curious what they're gonna go for in terms of... Let's build up a bit. Yeah, save. In terms of gameplay mechanics, I have no clue what the deal could be. Yeah, just one. It's not really a great time. Can we... I guess we could almost set up a nuke turn if we wanted to. We can try with like envy resonance. And hold on, what does Dimension Shredder want? Okay, it needs the Wrath. I don't think do we actually have anybody with Wrath? Then there's the other Y fixer. I wonder who it will be. There's been I've seen some discussion of who the other fixer is gonna be. Let's do this. Now let's just get some resonance. Yeah, I've barely used Electric Screaming. I really want to have it more. Okay, you got the load. You have load. Oh, it's so cute. I like Miso's one as well, or Miso's corrosion. Look at that. It's hard to really tell when these fights are so short. Let me so the news why. I'll take a quick. Happy, how's it going? I'm good, thank you. How are you?
그보다 더 일찍 의뢰를 완수했네요. 저와
Oh,
파우스트의
we
뛰어난
got
능력
a
덕분이지만 여러분의 노력도
extra one.
나쁘지
Oh wait,
않았어요.
it turned into... Alright, these... Okay. I want to see what the name of the big one is, if it's something different, if it just turns into the more littler ones. Okay, 3 types. Sorry, one sec. Why? So sort of some speculation who it's gonna be. That's what I was trying to say. I've seen like the candidates sort of being... at some point Ishmael's gonna be the unit or the sinner that's gonna have the longest time between like a three-star unit. So she has options, and the Zwei unit's also supposed to be come with bygone days. It's gonna be bygone days. And honestly, I'd really like Ishmael to get a nice bygone to fit with having really critical syncing ID. That would be really nice. However, and the other thing I was leaning about it is Ishmael's the weird thing about Ishmael was she appears in Zwei Faust's art, which I think is it actually would be a good precedent to set that sinners can be in different branches of the same association. For instance, I don't want, for instance, Ryoshu to be like permanently stuck as just the 2-star in the Leo, for instance. Although I'm not super, unfortunately, I wouldn't be super thrilled with, I mean, because she's my favorite. The Zwei units don't, none of them have really thrilled me, although Zwei Greg has his uses. I do use him all the time for thread excavation, and I did use him, I tried him out for Faction Railway run. I still wonder which camp tiling with all 12 sinners first. What is it? Is this warp have the most at the moment? The Kurokumo / Blade Lineage world is just missing 2. It's missing Ishmael and just missing Ishmael and Heathcliff. So there's points for Ishmael there. Also, she has appeared in, let's see, Canto 4, 5, and 6. She'll have appeared in like the main mirror worlds. So it's reasonable for her to get a break from being in sort of the main, getting a limited ID. Don't be bothered. I just would like Zwei to be interesting. I would love it to be Dawn. I just don't see her getting bygone days quite as much. And then I think what people also found out that like Honglu is the one other option, which wouldn't be, which I would also take. And then it's pretty, I think people have also said Gregor's the most likely to be the ego for next Valpurgis. Which should be a Floor of Art. I mean, Dawn's Deluxe Evolve Ego. I assume they're gonna save that for the next Battle Pass. Honestly. I assume that's gonna be Battle Pass. I wonder if she'll be the last one to get evolved. Or they might save whoever also has that same, like, abnormality. Otis and Ryoshu got one before, but then she'd be the first one to get 2, presumably. But I don't know. Maybe she'll be the first LF, which would be fun, but that might be for Honglu. So Gregor with a Floor of Art abnormality. I would love it if they got Alryun. Orcubus is also would sort of, I think, fit him, but I want Alryun. Although he has sort of like the healing center with the healing passive, so I guess that's points for Child of the Galaxy, but Alryun with the big hat. That's my choice. And I am and always have been a truther for Ishmael getting Solemn Lament. Being the one with the Solemn Lament. I actually think it fits her better than Isang. I mean, both like in imagery wise and thematically. I mean, it just, you can put the butterflies on her hairband. It just fits. And her whole thing is about surviving on a coffin and seeking death by going to the ocean. I just think its suit actually fits her extremely well. But I still hope it can still happen. She could get an ego version. Curious. I'm curious how they're gonna do it mechanically. I'm curious how they're gonna do it mechanically because at least it's just an ominous thing to sort of being talking over if it's to be on a BGM. I can dance at the same time. Because in Lob Corp it's black and white damage, and then in Ruina you have like HP and stagger damage. So are they gonna go for the, which was their adaptation of the Lob Corp, so are they gonna do it, is it gonna be sinking? Or is it gonna be tremor? I mean, I assume it's HP and... I would lean to... I mean, the problem with making it sinking is that, again, every sinking idea is gonna compete with Spice Bush, which isn't the worst thing, because if it's a good jet, because you don't necessarily... Spice Bush's main thing is sinking Deluge. So if it's a good, which you're not... is not always the most useful thing, for instance, going against like waves of enemies, and if it's an enemy that's hard to stack, the high sinking would still be viable, but
전투에 임하겠습니다.
and I don't know what Spider-Bud could. Oh, Otis, unhappy. Actually, what's your passive? One charge. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's hold on for turn. Build your charge up. Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was the bleeding. All in. Same with fast and fluid sack. Fluid sack was a mistake. I would not. It would not be. Oh, Faust. Oh, Faust. I think fluid sack could be evolved. They could rebalance that to evolve. They could even rebalance it to an Aleph at some point. Oh no, now it's dawn. Sure. Oh, I want that to get this charge.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
지금이라도 말 들어.
소란이 들었는 승객 무력. 확인.
I just want Cleanupate Dawn. I think even before the game began, I said something like, I'm afraid the magical girls are gonna be... Just as Virgilius is in the... As I was saying, Virgilius is in the break pod in case of emergency. Break open the cryogenic pod. The magical girls are... The magical girls are like break in case we really need money. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Why Ophi instead of Rabbit Cliff? Actually, good question. I picked him because his synth spread lines up pretty well with the WIDs, and I actually went into it. I went into this fight assuming they'd be resistant to pierce because our new IDs focus on slash and blunt. But it wouldn't be bad to get some gluttony. Oh, we can try out the Dimension Shredder. So what is it? Resonance. Can we get, what is our resonant? Okay, just regular resonance, sure. Let's try it out. Let's see the cool animation. She didn't have very high SP, so that's fine.
한순간이라도 놓친다면 영원히 방황할 테니.
Oh, nice. What was that effect? I wasn't noticing.
저기 있습니다.
맘.
Let's get charge back up.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
I know Heath is kind of... Actually, maybe I'll check if anybody has Heathcliff yet. Because once Heathcliff's up...
출력 최대치.
then I'll swap it. I could swap to a different Heathcliff now. I was just afraid they were gonna have pierce resistance. There's no reason to run telepole over fluid sac, and doesn't this ID
잊으셨나요?
you want to spend more, doesn't it? Like not even synergize very well with Faust's telepole. We have enough. Hold on. Let's do one more turn before we... You can do that-ish. I want Otis's skill 3.
방해꾼 하나가 사라졌군.
Okay, you're staggered. But we'll swap off for multi-track office. Multi-track drifting office.
소란이
We
줄었네요.
get him.
저기 있습니다.
Not even next turn. Opportunity cost very not worth it. Indeed. Ew. Battling in a narrow hallway really takes a lot out of you. Is that a Lob Corp? Too bad. Making big movements and there's not a lot of room to move around and takes more energy than you might think, especially for people like us who use longer weapons. These enemies weren't much harder than the ones we'd fought earlier, but it was inevitable that their sheer number would eventually wear down the sinners. What are these things, Faust? Yeah, I've been wondering that too. Are you so tight-lipped all of a sudden? Those entities are... What do you think those entities are? Huh? She's so funny. Didn't I just ask you the same question? Oh no, are you... giving us a chance to come up with our own answers first? Of course, Faust did not confirm nor deny his question, But Sinclair was perfectly capable of interpreting her silence in his own fashion. There were some things I learned after fighting them, I think. These monsters aren't mad at us, nor do they want to attack us because we're an obstacle. And that's not why they're attacking us. Quite. 'Tis apparent that they hunger for aught, charging at anyone and anything in a desperate quest of it. Right. That's strange, though. I thought hunger or thirst wasn't a thing aboard these trains. It could be determined from the entity's attack patterns that their offensives were not based on rational thought. The source of this behavior can only be traced back to primal aggressiveness. Yes, and? Was there anything else? Anything else? Oh yeah, I think they all had red eyes. Their bodies wreathed in blankets of red. I smelled blood, so it's likely that's what they're made of. What people are made of. Then it must be that the red was congealed, nay, crystallized blood. Thank you all. Your input has been very helpful. It was my turn to start whispering. Oh, what did you learn from that? We are in luck, Dante. I have read upon this subject at a tangent while perusing information regarding our next destination, moments before we boarded the train. And while that will be a useful element in resolving the situation, the sinners have also been a very good source of intelligence when it came to categorizing and identifying important evidence from the available sea of information. Your advice was correct, Dante. You mean, you know what to do to blow this case wide open? Nothing can be said with absolute certainty at the moment. However, this will be a good place for us to start. With that, Faust turned around and faced the rest of the sinners. I will now present before you a solution to this predicament. Huh? Is there something else we gotta do other than beating the heck out of whatever's in our way? That will not change, no. However, what I'm about to share with you will give you a better understanding of the purpose behind W Corp's contract, and provide us with the possible means of finding the method by which we may complete it. It is of high likelihood that the identity behind the incidents on this train, by extension, every incident of the same nature that has occurred in previous warp train trip. Oh. Yeah, it is interesting that I feel like the puppeteer's effects were a little more obvious, but Elena was there too. Is a blood fiend. Okay, snack time.
계획보다 더 일찍 의뢰를 완수했네요. 저와 파우스트의 뛰어난 능력 덕분이지만 여러분의 노력도 나쁘지 않았어요.
Oh! That's fun. And doesn't bode well for Sasha. That does not bode well for Sasha, but that is fun. Something about changing. I know I look at these more closely. Normally, sorry, having a drink. We'll probably do one more chapter before are we... Okay, yeah, we're getting towards the halfway point. That'll be a good... We'll do this one. She's definitely gonna die, but I mean... You'll be reset. I never really thought if you're reset, you wouldn't necessarily keep the memories. I mean, nobody keeps the memories, but yeah, she won't even know us afterwards. Well, I mean, Dante keeps the memories, but will this sinner? I hadn't actually totally thought about how that works if you're in first class as well. To save state. Because I always wondered if Dante can't get their memories erased, but if it like interacts with things.
하라고? 나? 뭐 최선은 다해.
Thanks, Gregor. Yeah, blood fiends. Blood fiends are such an interesting. I mean, the city is Project Moon has sort of made a world where you can kind of throw anything into the blender and it works. Just because like anything can come from psychology. There's effectively magic. I mean, there is magic pretty much. There's magic circles, magic contracts. So why not? Let's have vampires. Wait, a blood fiend? What's a blood fiend? A blood fiend? What in the name of wings is that? You all of all people haven't heard of blood fiends? Thought you were our team expert on obscure lore. Verily, I've not once heard mention of these blood fiends. Perchance I have let a magazine article slip from my memory? Maybe she knows them as vampires. Don Quixote furrowed her brows, genuinely lost. It was as though the very words sounded alien to her. Memory shenanigans, perhaps? I thought they were just monsters in stories to scare children in the night. They're supposed to be afraid of garlic and sunlight, right? Oh, sounds a bit different from what I've heard. I heard their fear of garlic and sunlight is just a rumor, and what they're really afraid of is water. I've been briefed on the existence of blood fiends in the past, when I served as a commanding officer. And I've seen the dregs that they command. Though my memory isn't very clear, I'm quite certain that these monsters here do not resemble what I've seen. I've seen one who called themselves a blood fiend among the fingers. And their fingers. But the things that blood fiend commanded were like these rubber textured ones. There's something off about this one. That one didn't spawn these drugs with abandon like this. But aren't you supposed to know this already? Yes, I see that some of the sinners may have encountered blood fiends in the past. A long-winded explanation seems unnecessary, but you never want to not give the explanation. As many of you have stated thus far, the entities we faced in this train do not appear to be blood fiends. In a sense, they are drug-like beings that have failed to become kindreds. They are referred to as blood bags among relevant parties, according to information I'm aware of. Not a terrible name. Why would anyone name someone blood bags? As it has been said prior, it is impossible for passengers to disappear aboard warp trains under normal circumstances. Though our reserve of intelligence regarding the warp trains, or W Corp, is vast, if incomplete, we could not find a possible exception to the above rule. Within that reserve of intelligence, however, I've discovered that inserting a previously unseen variable into the equation allows for a formulation of a new hypothesis. Wait, you're saying that these blood fiends can completely erase people, or passengers, from existence? A more accurate descriptor would be to say that they are either dissolved or vaporized. Or... Yeah, if there is... I mean, just as you were saying that, I was thinking if there's nothing to restore, or nothing that the warp can Restore. Dissolved. Oh, sorry. Hit the mic there. Sorry. Hope it didn't pick up. I always like that. It was nice sort of foreshadowing, because this is like Ishmael's very specific fear coming from the whales. I always like that well, maybe not liked, but the scene in Canto 4 where she's being dissolved, and that particularly freaks her out. I always like that sort of little foreshadowing to the Canto 5. No matter the degree of violence the passengers may indulge in, no matter how severe the damages may be, the warp trains can revert them to their initial states at the beginning of the journey. Among several interpretations of the word violence involve cannibalization, of course. Of course. Ugh. However, as the passengers' collective time itself is in moratorium for the duration of the train's operation, digestion is not a biological process that should be active. In other words, even the devoured passengers could be reconstructed. If they're merely stuffed into the digestive tract, then I suppose they could gut the passengers to retrieve the chewed up chunks of other passengers and piece them back together via the vein-like things connecting each individual. This is why I didn't want a warp event. However, such is not true for blood bags. Blood bags are, by their nature, obsessed with blood. Their existence hinges on supplying themselves with the blood of their victims. And it is said that they must consume a minuscule amount of blood to maintain their forms. Wait, what? Didn't you just say that digestion's not a thing while we're on the train? If I were to continue my deductions, perhaps consumption of blood for blood fiends and blood bags is a fundamentally different process from our consumption of nutrients for energy. To them... Oh, the text got smaller, oh no. I'll drink while she reads this. To them, blood is accumulation, an entailment of something that forms the self, including but not limited to emotions, ambitions, wealth, purposes of existence. Then, it must naturally follow that they can spend their blood at will, which is a process that is isolated from other biological processes such as digestion. I didn't even follow in half of that. You exist in a moratorium of time at the present moment, Heathcliff, yet your emotions still persist, do they not? Anger, sorrow, and joy, they continue to spark within you. Well, I suppose they are. Though we cannot tell whether they may be in a state of alteration, or whether they remain ensnared in a wheel of creation and destruction, it can be said that emotions, once past, exist not in continuation. The passengers' will to persist, the worth of this very existence in which they thrive, do they not at all gently atrophy into non-existence amidst the ceased time? Miss Faust seeks to illustrate the similarity between how emotions are to ourselves and how blood is to blood fiends. Gotcha. So that's why she said their blood is vaporized, huh? If that's the case, then the very blood that's supposed to bind these chunks of flesh together will also evaporate, which means that they can't be pieced back together. There is no incongruence in that logic. Everyone fell silent for a moment. That was way too much information to process at once. We didn't even know what to make of them either. I would like to ask a few questions, if you would permit me. Isan was the first to break the silence. Could it be said that blood bags are direct creations of blood fiends? If such is the case, then by which method do they... That information is inaccessible at the moment. Faust replies, avoiding Yisung's gaze. There isn't anything I can do about this. The sinners will only get more stressed if they find out, and that's something Faust and I both want to avoid. Inaccessible, indeed. Now I recall what you have said in the past. This is only a speculation, however. I assume that a form of direct physical contact is needed to turn an individual into a blood bag. If such were not the case, then we, who are likely the greatest obstacles to this entity's goal at the moment, would have been the first ones to be turned. Indeed. In that case, that villain of a blood fiend must be hiding out somewhere aboard this train. Indeed. If we are to believe the words of the fixer from earlier, then there is a high likelihood that the horde is advancing in this direction from the back of the train. In other words, continuing down the train cards will lead us straight to the blood fiend. Very well. I shan't forsake this opportunity to bring peace to the souls of the innocent passengers who have perished by the villain's hands. Dante. It seemed that Don Quixote was now invigorated. The other sinners also seemed satisfied now that we have a clearer sight of our goal. Faust, who stood amidst them, nodded in my direction. Well then, let's go. We're making the best of what's available to us at the moment. Let's move forward, for now. We're marching. Here we go. Who are you? Pharaoh Bloodbag Cleanup Agent. So is this a cleanup agent that was riding the train? Why are there cleanup agents here? Thrust, charge and bleed. Charge, bleed, charge, bleed. Hard blood weapon. Consume all charge on self and consume 2 times 50 minus charge consumed, taking coin power +2. Bleed and fragile. Absorb up to 10 bleed potency from the target. Okay, and heal. Evade. Bleed count every time this unit is hit. Consume bleed. Okay. Take 20% less damage from bleed. Power leakage. Once hit, if the attacker uses a skill that gains charge, the attacker steals 1 charge count from this unit. Oh, that's fun. Once per skill. Tenacious. Self-inflicted damage due to this unit's skills do not reduce this unit's HP under 1. Okay. Okay. Fine. Oh yeah, you're resistant. You're resistant to pierce. Okay. Let's start with things that are favored. It's not that. I'll go for the clash. We'll just start getting envy.
전투에 임하겠습니다.
Okay, nice Ryoshu. I guess I always assume I don't remember it too well from Ruina. I always assume they kind of, when the trains arrive, that's when they went on. But I guess, yeah, for them to be that short. Or to feel like them being that short, yes, they have to be there already. Maybe do want... You are resistant, but that's you have the fragile, so I think we'll be okay. Let's get... Oh, bye JT, bye Panda, no worries, no worries. I'm gonna finish up after this battle anyway. Not get the resonance. I wouldn't mind a focus encounter at some point just because I do want to follow what's happening a little bit better. Probably not necessary quite yet. We'll hold off. You know, Dawn doesn't even have rip space.
외우피의 적법한 무력 행사다.
저기 있습니다.
I'm wondering how she would I'm wondering because I want to do a refraction railway stream at some point. I'm just wondering how this Faust would. Oh, hello, thank you. Thank you, hello.
제압 완료. 승객 보건 준비.
You're different. Okay, merciless blood bag. Are you stabbed down? So again, hard blood weapon, guard. Okay. We doing? Can we? Let's save one of these. Unless you want to turn, yeah, that's fine.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
Yeah, I don't really know how the gifted ones work. $29. And you have the load. 28. Oh, Faust.
공간을 뭉갠다.
That animation is so cool. I need to see this slow down a little bit. Oh, his animations are so good. Okay, that was a bit of a waste of whip space, but I wanted to try this out with the load.
지금이라도 말 들어.
Ugh. I don't know if it's random from the subscriber pool. I feel like I heard something once, and I can't source this, that it's meant to go to people that are more active. It weights towards people who chat in the stream. That's what I heard. Save that. Well, you do have a lot of charge. Save this for next turn. We have more fresh body bags.
전투에 임하겠습니다. 다음은 어디요?
Hey, Knife Dude. I know the animations. Otis, I want to get the Otis's Dimension Shredder again. Maybe I could bring out what Merceau and it wouldn't be so bad. Can you not gift the base one? Sorry, I don't actually know how much all that works. Was this the last one? It's a little hard to tell how many people are coming now that we have the sort of like backup system.
내가 눈에 새겨주지. 제압 완료. 승객 보건 준비.
Okay. Let's see what's next.
계획보다 더 일찍 의뢰로 완수했네요. 저와 파우스트의 뛰어난
So good.
덕분이지만 여러분의 노력도 나쁘지 않았어요.
Well, I should spark Otis, but I also think just because Valpargus is coming up. Valpargus is coming up. It could be the chance to pull her then, assuming, because it's fairly likely I have to go through everyone. The cleanup agent. Okay, here we go. So is this clear within 10 turns? 45. Okay. So I think I'm gonna finish up there. Still waiting for the Heathcliff. Actually, let's just do this. Very important because I got the level up. I'm gonna finish up there and we will finish tomorrow, but which will be a bit earlier than I think my normal stream time. Not that this is my regular one. But I believe I put the frame up. But I hope everybody's enjoying. We're continuing this in an early stream tomorrow. Yes. Oh yeah, there's the cleanup agent. I see you. Yeah, I want to know why are the. I never really thought about if they have to read the trains before. But again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoy the rest of the event. And I will see you very, very soon. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm definitely enjoying this ride. It has been a ride. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye bye.